Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's J-Man. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm J-Man.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
Did you see the last Ghostbusters movie?
The one with Melissa McCarthy and all them?
Yeah.
Bits and pieces of it.
Okay. Can I tell you something?
Yeah, sure.
You don't need to ever watch the entire thing.
I figured that out in the, I'd say it's 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes that I watched. I watched a little bit of the intro when they're first going to investigate a ghost, and I was greatly disappointed. Mm-hmm. My mom was trying to point out a part that she thought was absolutely hilarious near the end of the movie when Slimer was driving their car, which to me was stupid. And then I think I watched a part where they were at a concert fighting ghosts or something.
Yeah.
Or a rave or something. Yeah, those are the 3 parts I watched, and no, it blows. It was horribly done. And I found out why.
Because?
I was watching a YouTube video dissing it, and they let the 4 actresses ad-lib a bunch of the dialogue in that film.
Oh.
So, like, they sat around a table, you know, ad-libbing when they were interviewing the guy that's supposed to be the genie. That was her name in the original movies.
Oh, Janine? You
Janine.
mean Chris Hemsworth.
Janine. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth. When they're interviewing him, like, I guess the director was like, he just let them film for like a half hour, and then he just took the bits that he thought were funniest instead of making them follow some kind of a well thought out script. You know, it's not the brilliance the original one was with. God damn it.
You want me to name the whole cast, or are you just thinking of Janine's
first
actual character, which was Annie Potts was the actress?
No, I'm trying to. Bill Murray's character, the genius that he had, because he got to ad-lib most of his dialogue in the first film. I don't know about the second film. But, I mean, he's good at ad-libbing, staying on subject and actually making it subtly funny. These girls were just over-the-top slapstick funny, which isn't really that funny.
It's
not in doses like that. Small doses, yes. Not an entire movie.
Yeah. Did you have a problem with an all-female cast?
No, except for I think they could have selected better actresses for the parts.
Did you have one particular actress out of the 4 that you found to be much less funnier than the other 3?
The one that was supposed to be playing Egon's character.
So Kate McKinnon, the blonde?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought the weak link was Leslie Jones. The black chick.
Yeah. I don't. It's hard to say because, like, you don't know what could have been. All you see is the product. You don't know if she could have done something better had she had better direction, or, you know what I mean?
Well, I think that they just let Leslie Jones be Leslie Jones, which is she's always portraying a loud, boisterous black woman who's fed up and not going to take it anymore. And I just think
seen her in a whole lot of movies.
Put her in some dramatic roles and let's see if she's got some chops. Because right now, all I see is the same old annoying fucking talks too much. That she's an SNL and everything else, and it's just like, no, thank you.
There's a lot of actresses and actors that are like that. Yeah.
So did you hear the news, the Ghostbusters related news this week?
Yes, they're going to redo Ghostbusters, but they're going to go back to the roots and they're going to use a male cast.
Well, kind of. They're going to do another sequel to the original 2 movies.
Yeah.
They're not sure what they're going to do with the cast, but they're going to completely ignore the all-female movie.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was. Well, when I read the article, it was all female, or ignoring that. I honestly took it as they were going to go with an all-male cast, which, not to sound sexist or anything like that, but we saw what happened when they with the 4 actresses they chose. Like, if they chose better ones, I think it could have turned out better.
Well, speaking of Leslie Jones, when she heard about the new Ghostbusters movie, she was not having any part of it. She was pissed.
Good.
And here's what she put out on Twitter. So insulting, like, fuck us. We didn't count, D-I-N-T. We didn't count. It's like something Trump would do. Gonna redo Ghostbusters. Better with men. We'll be huge. Those women ain't Ghostbusters. Ugh, so annoying. Such a dick move, and I don't give a fuck. I'm saying something.
That's like something Trump would do. Is Trump a director?
I don't know why she felt the need to make it political. I don't know why she had to turn it into, like, privileged white male woman bashing. And here's the best part. I don't give a fuck, I'm saying something. Well, you don't have enough information. All they released was a, like, 26-second long teaser of a barn with, like, lightning charge stuff going on inside of it and a vehicle underneath a sheet. And then the wind of a storm that's coming blows part of the sheet out, and you see the back of Ecto-1 with the license plate and the Ghostbuster symbol. That's all they've shown.
I haven't seen anything like that.
Okay, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Getting a lot of love. Jason Reitman, the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the first two, wants to follow in his father's footsteps and direct one in the original Ghostbusters
That's
universe.
the other thing I read, yeah.
So yes, they're ignoring the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, but not because it was all female, because he wants to follow his father's footsteps and make a movie in the same universe as the characters that he fell in love with that his father used.
God, I hope he does a good job. I mean, I was a big fan of the first Ghostbusters, and Ghostbusters 2 came out when I was young enough to not know that the special effects were a little bit subpar, but I liked Ghostbusters 2 as well. I didn't like it as much as like the first one, but
Right. I think another reason why he's ignoring the 2016 movie is because it was shitty.
yeah, it was. It bombed at the box office. It lost money, didn't it? I can't remember how much it was.
Yeah, they ate $70 million.
Yeah.
Not $70 million.
Yeah. Like, they didn't get hardly any of their budget back.
Yeah, so it was a steaming turd. And I just think to myself, well, Leslie Jones, and I'm going to reread a comment I put on the Den of Geek website. My advice to Leslie Jones is this. I'm sure that if the movie you were in, the all-female Ghostbuster movie, didn't get the fair shake that you think it deserved, and true fans are clamoring for more, they're not. You'll have no problem getting the band back together and crowdfunding the effort. You are more than welcome to co-write, produce, direct, and star in the follow-up. I'm sure it won't end up as basically Medea with a proton pack on her back. And then I thought for a second, actually, now I implore Tyler Perry to make that film because I would actually watch that film. More than I would a sequel to the female Ghostbusters. And it's not because of their women. It's because it was just a shitty movie that I didn't find funny.
Yeah, the special effects were just bad. The one thing about the first Ghostbusters film is that every ghost had a different look about it, different specters. The female cast of it they all looked the same. They all had that, what was it, a purplish, greenish hue to them or something?
Kinda, yeah.
It relied too much on slapstick humor. Slapstick dialogue.
Well, I just think it's funny that something that so many people thought was hated on for shoehorned in diversity, which it felt like, they're like, well, we're going to have an all-female cast, and we're going to have a male secretary just because fuck you, males.
It could have been that, but I think they were... I don't know, it's hard to say.
Well, the social justice warriors would have you think nothing but that, because clearly it's a bunch of good old boys who can't stand women getting their just due and hated on the movie, and it did poorly because all those men were talking shit and it drove crowds away from the theaters. I'm sure it has nothing to do with any of the reasons we've already stated about a hackneyed script, the new characters being poor analogs of their male counterparts in the other films, the fact that the original cast from the first two movies was in it in completely different roles where the cameos were stupid as hell.
Yeah, if you watch the YouTube videos that's out there, when they're sitting with the old cast and the new cast is sitting down in front of them, they're sitting like a two-tier thing, and they're watching clips of the film with some talk show host. When the camera pans back to them after showing a clip from the movie, you can see the look on Bill Murray's face as, that's utter fucking garbage. That's the look he had on his face. Like, I am not happy about this film.
I don't know if Bill Murray's happy about a lot of stuff.
I don't know, but I mean, I've seen him smile at other things.
Well, yes.
This wasn't smiling.
I think that he and Dan Aykroyd are tired of all the fervor over the fact that it took so long to get another movie made, and that it wasn't the original cast, and it took so long that Harold Ramis died. So we're never going to get the original 4 again. Thankfully, what we got was the Ghostbusters game on Xbox 360 and PS3, which was phenomenal. You probably never played it.
No, I thought I had it for the Wii, I think.
Did you?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I didn't like it on the Wii.
Probably because the controller sucked because you had to use the stupid nunchuck like the Proton, like you're aiming.
I think it was just, it's just,
you don't have to do that shit with the other two systems. You just use the analog sticks to point like you would any other shooting game. So instead of getting lost in the control scheme, you're honed in on what's going on. And the storyline was actually quite good. But there was always that rumored Ghostbusters 3, Ghostbusters in Hell, that they wrote a script for, that it just ended up in production limbo forever and it never got made. And it's
Ghostbusters in Hell? What, they had to go to Hades or something?
I could look it up now for you if you'd like to know.
I'm just curious. No, honestly, I mean, if they tried to get the original cast back together, I don't think it would work. They're all way too old, sorry to say. You know, they're retirement age at this point. But if they want to do a situation where, like, they're in the movie, but it's like, well, yeah, this is my grandson, or, you know, this is my son, you know, and he kind of, they go to the original cast, their grandfathers or father, whatever, and be like, hey, this is stuff that we remember from when we were kids, or, you know, from before we were kids, and there seems to be a problem again. What advice do you have? You know, kind of involve them that way, but not be the main protagonist.
Dan Aykroyd's abandoned Ghostbusters sequel featured a trip to hell and Donald Trump, kind of. Blah, 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 blah. So this story's from 2016 when they were putting out the other movie. So it basically sat there in development hell. Here's Dan Aykroyd. I wrote a script called Hellbent. Ghostbusters go to hell, basically. The premise is that it's Manhattan. There's Manhattan and Manhattan. And you can build an interdimensional phase system so that you can go from one dimension to another. We've succeeded doing that, and we go to the hell side. Central Park is this huge, deep mine. Green demons there, surrounded by black onyx, 1,000-foot-high apartment buildings with classic red devils. Very wealthy. And we go visit a Donald Trump-like character, Mr. Sifler, Lucifer. So I will say we meet the devil in it. Ghostbusters transported to hell to do battle with Donald Trump, stand-in, who also happens to be Satan himself. Aykroyd could have no idea how prescient the script would be in 2016, as he was developing it throughout the 90s and 2000s. But before he could make the movie, reality set in. So, yeah.
Huh.
So they went round and round for years, and the original cast fought over whether they were going to do it or whether they're not going to do it. And Bill Murray was the main holdout, because for whatever reason he didn't want any part of it.
As much as I like Ghostbusters at this point, I want to say you should have left it the original two and nothing else.
Well, then there was talk of years ago they were going to have like Ben Stiller and Chris Farley and Chris Rock and somebody else, and they were going to do a next generation where they passed the torch so they could keep it going another movie or two.
Not Chris Rock or Kevin Hart. If you want to talk about black angry
Kevin
person,
Hart.
No, I'm just saying that's just if they go to this next movie, like, oh, let's get Kevin Hart in there because he's been in a lot of movies and supposedly he's a really good stand-up comedian. Which he only had one bit that I thought was funny, and that was the ostrich bit. That's it. Everything else I thought was stupid and annoying. But not those two. Find someone else of ethnic color that could do the job well. An actual actor.
I think if they're going to do it, it would be interesting to see if Dan Aykroyd were to team up with some writers from SNL.
Maybe.
Their current Weekend Update anchors, Colin Jost and Michael Che, very funny. Michael Che is a person of color.
Okay.
You don't need to have a black guy if you're going for like the same shtick.
That's why I said ethnicity. It doesn't matter what, I'm not saying go with black. You can go Chinese or whatever else.
I think that Jason Reitman will do right by the diversity card. Not that he probably is aiming to. But he'll have a mix of male and female and different ethnicities. It'll be just like a Ghostbusters The Next Generation. It won't be great. It will be good. I'm air quoting good. But it'll be better than that fucking all-female cast shit. And I hate to keep calling it the all-female cast, but it's not Ghostbusters 3. And I hate saying the Ghostbusters reboot because they completely ignored the other universe. It's just the female Ghostbusters. And if you are familiar with the Halloween franchise, Michael Myers?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Never saw it.
Most people didn't because it's only in the series by name. It's not a sequel to any of them. It's a standalone story. Michael Myers is not in it. It's completely different.
Strange.
And I think that in the pantheon of film, years from now, people will look back at the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot with the female cast as the Halloween 3 Season of the Witch of the Ghostbusters franchise. It existed. It was kind of the same, but it was nothing related to the source material.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
So overall, do you think that Leslie Jones did herself any favors by shooting her mouth off instantly?
No. I think, I mean, I don't know who all follows her, but it just puts it right back into the whole world is sexist.
Yeah.
And it's not.
You didn't need to politicize the fact they're making a new movie. I mean, other movies with all-female casts have done very well. Just accept the fact that you made a shitty movie.
Well, and again, I wouldn't even say that these 4 women made a shitty movie. I just think the director didn't really direct.
Paul Feig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know the names of the players, but I mean, he didn't direct. He wasn't like, no, these lines suck. Let's do the script. I'll let you wing it for 5 minutes, but we're probably going to use the script.
Right.
Otherwise, I mean, what's the point of even having a script?
Well, if you ask Neil, it performed so poorly and there was so much backlash and bitching that Paul Feig pretty much burned his bridges with Sony forever.
That he was angry with them?
Well, no. They pretty much said, hey, thanks, but yeah, we're not going to use you anymore. And we're not going to make a sequel to your movie. And by the way, thanks for making us eat, the better part of $100 million on your half-assed... Like, he fucking blew it in grand fashion.
Yeah, he did.
But the
social justice...
justice...
trying to pocket some of that money.
No. But the social justice warrior angle didn't need to be there. The politicizing this doesn't need to be there. She could have shut her mouth and waited. Because maybe they were going to give her a phone call, but now they're not. Because of this shit.
I don't know. It's just... She's probably just angry because she won't be in the sequel. There won't be a sequel for her. She ain't got no paycheck.
Well, she also got a lot of direct backlash on Twitter to the point where she got so butthurt she quit Twitter for 2 days because of all the sexism and racism that was coming towards her.
Whatever.
Right.
You're bad-mouthing me? Well, you're sexist because I'm a female.
No, I think a lot of it, I can sympathize with the cast on the fact that they didn't deserve all of that shit. She especially got hit really hard, but she does herself no favors by going off at the mouth half-cocked. So, lesson learned there. I just think it's dumb to get so worked up unless they said, we're not going to use any of the other cast at all, and thanks, but no thanks. They basically said he's making a sequel that will ignore the 2016 one and be a direct sequel to the original universe. They've done it with Terminator movies. Like 2 or 3 times. They can't decide what is and what isn't canon. I gave up because it's fucking confusing, and honestly, they shouldn't still be making Terminator movies
Aren't
at this
they kind
point.
of doing that with Spider-Man, too?
Well, that's because they keep making new movies every time they're about to lose the rights. So they're like, fuck, we got to get a script.
So that's why they went
Film
from
it.
Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 to The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. And now we've got Spider-Man Homecoming and the next one that's, I don't know what it's called. Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It? That is at What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm J-Man.
And I'm number 1 fan, Tim.
And that's the end.